please.
Master Combs.
Here.
Master Barger.
Here.
Master Tudor.
Here.
Master Bacon. Judge Taylor.
Yes, here. At this time, I'd like to invite Brother Kenny Davis up to lead us in a word of prayer. Bethel Baptist Church. Kenny, we appreciate you being here.
Thank you for the opportunity. If you just allow me just a second here.
Sure.
I've got the opportunity twice in the last little bit to serve our Commonwealth, not as an elected official, but as a volunteer. Both times I've had to take the oath of office to the Constitution. So I want to read the preamble to our Constitution and remind folks where we were founded and what we were founded on. The preamble says this: "We, the people of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, grateful to Almighty God for the civil, political, and religious liberties we enjoy, and invoking the continuance of these blessings, do ordain and establish this Constitution." Sometimes we need to be reminded of our roots, don't we?
Amen.
Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, we come before you today first to thank you and praise you that we live in the greatest nation on the earth. We are blessed to live in the greatest state in that nation and grateful to be citizens of Madison County. Father, our nation was founded upon biblical principles, and this form of government has served us well all these many years. Father, I ask your blessings upon this body who make up the Madison County Fiscal Court. I pray that you give each of them wisdom as they perform their respective tasks in their service to the citizens of Madison County. I lift up by name these members of the Fiscal Court: our magistrates, Tom Botkin, Roger Barger, John Tudor, and Larry Combs; our judge executive, Reagan Taylor; our sheriff, Mike Coyle; our jailer, Doug Thomas; and clerk, Kenny Barger. My prayer for this fiscal court is that as they exercise the authority given them by the voters of Madison County, that even more importantly, they serve at the pleasure of these voters, that they will constantly be reminded that they are ultimately and eternally accountable to you, Father. Father, I pray today for our state and the turmoil that we find ourselves in. Father, please raise up scrupled leaders who fear you and truly seek your face in all decisions and throughout the entire legislative process. Father, I pray for all those employed by our county that you would protect and bless they and their families. I pray for our law enforcement folks. God, their jobs have become even more dangerous as they seek to protect and serve our citizens. I pray for the families of the 36 officers across our nation who have given their lives in the line of duty already in 2018. Please, God, restore respect for our law enforcement officers. Please halt our nation's descent into anarchy. Father, I pray that our nation would once again respect life from conception until natural death. Only then will we once again become a nation that you can bless, and only then will we see harmony and peace in our land again. And Father, I ask all these things in the mighty name of Christ and for his sake, and amen.
Amen. Thank you, Brother Kenny. Sheriff, if you will, lead us in the pledge.
If you would please stand, face our flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated.
Thank you, Sheriff. Guys, I know you all just got your minutes a few minutes ago here before court. Did y'all have a chance to look at them? If you do and you feel comfortable in making a motion in a second, I would appreciate that at this time.
I move we approve them. We can always come back and change it if there's a typo.
We can. Mm-hmm.
I'll second.
No discussion. Call the roll, please.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Tudor.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Treasury report will be at our next meeting. First order of business today is CSEP HVAC bid rejections. Michael, I think you're going to present to us on these today.
Yes, we put out a bid to upgrade the HVAC system for our Joint Information Center. It's been about 10 years since that was built, and since we had an HVAC system in there. We're having issues with it. Some places are too hot, some places too cold. We issued an RFP. We got 4 bids in. We analyzed those bids. None of them met all the specs that we wanted. So all we would like to do is we would like to reject all 4 of those bids. We're going to refine our RFP a little bit more, tweak it some more, and put that back out to bid. This is paid for with CSUP money, and we've got till the September 30th, but we can get an extension on that.
Were the bids reasonable though?
They were reasonable, yes. They
I don't
were
want
under
to
the
give no
amount.
price, but
Well, and I think there was a lot of difference in some of them. Some were saying that you needed to do this, and
And
their
some
price
said-
was pretty high, and some were saying you didn't need to do that, and they were pretty low, and so it was kind of all over the board, I think.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
it was hard to really make a decision.
we wasn't comparing apples and apples.
Right,
Yeah, and we'd rather get something that we want and it's going to work rather than do it slapdash.
Judge, you need a motion to that effect?
Yeah, I think so. I think it'd be good just to keep it clean, just to have a motion to reject all those bids.
I move we reject them on Michael, so.
Yep, recommendation.
I'll second
All right, we have a motion and a second. No more discussion. Call the roll, please.
Pastor Tudor,
that. Yes.
Pastor Combs,
Yes.
Pastor Barger, Yes. Judge Taylor.
Yes,
All right,
thanks.
thank you.
Appreciate it, Michael. Appreciate you being here today. Next, Colleen's going to talk to us about our opportunity zone announcement. I think she's given us all a little packet here to go by. So,
I have.
welcome.
Kenny, I'll give you an extra copy. You don't have one,
Okay.
sorry, so I'll make sure you get one. I'm coming bearing good news. I wanted to just let the court know, a few months ago, I let you know that we made application to Governor Bevin as a response to an RFI for an opportunity zone. And we received word that we were the recipient of the opportunity zone from the Treasury. So Governor Bevin recommended our census tract up to the U.S. Treasury, and it was approved by the Treasury. So we are part of the first round of opportunity zones that were released. For this reason, the regs on how to administer that, what is much like a tax credit, as Greg and I were talking about, program, have not been issued yet by the feds, but as soon as those are, they're going to host a training for us to attend and get a little bit more information. You'll see in your packet, and I was hoping to be able to have it for everyone to see up on the board, but it's not functional today. However, having said that, we actually applied for 2 tracts. One was a very, very small tract that was a low to moderate income tract that's across from the Center for the Arts. And the reason we applied for that tract was because you were eligible to do a contiguous tract. And I know you all have the visual, but just so everybody can see, the census tract that we applied for is all that is highlighted in green. And the key to the census tract is that an individual can invest in this opportunity zone. And that opportunity zone then moves to fund economic development in this area. And so it goes from the Kentucky River to the west side of our county, all the way along the county line to Silver Creek, right before you get to the airport. And so the benefit of that for us is that's the Duncannon Exchange. It falls almost right along I-75. We've already had individuals contact us because they saw our name was on the list as the opportunity zone. It's the only one in Madison County that got funded out of this round. I just wanted to thank the City of Richmond and the City of Berea for their support, the airport board, who was we mentioned as part of the application as a reason for incentive, and especially to Eastern Kentucky University, who gave us a heads up when our mail went upstairs to Circuit Court and we didn't get it. We actually had a heads up so we would be able to turn this around. This will allow investors a 10-year tax relief credit for that opportunity zone. We'll have more details about that, but this is a huge, huge win for us. And just so that everyone knows how economic development works, you start, it's like a funnel. You start at the beginning at the top. And a company says, hey, I want to be on I-75. Okay, it narrows down. All right, I want to be able to be on the eastern side of the country. Narrows down. Okay, I'd like to receive a federal tax incentive. It narrows down. And as that narrows down, none of that is done by somebody being in your community or talking. That literally is a checklist that goes down. If you're not competitive in those to answer those questions, you're not on the short list to even get a site visit. So this is a huge, huge win because the ability to get an automatic federal tax incentive by locating to that area is something that all companies that are the size of the kind of companies we're looking to attract are looking at. So congratulations.
Yep, thank you. Appreciate it. Guys, do y'all have any questions or comments or anything?
How small an industry, Colleen?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter the
Size does not matter. And actually, I talked to, Reagan and I were talking to a local accountant in town who said that he had 3 clients already ask about
For local-
saw
local
that we were on the list. Yeah, we were only one of 4 out of Kentucky to be recommended that was a non-contiguous census tract. And I would hazard a guess to say we are probably one of the largest in the country census tracts that were selected. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm pretty confident.
Colleen, if you don't mind, will you speak a little bit on, just to give some of our citizens of the county just a little comfort? You know, when we brought this to court prior to, there were some that in a newspaper article, whatever, were a little concerned about, you know, some of their rural part of their county where they farm,
Sure.
you know, being part of this.
Sure.
So maybe speak a little bit on behalf of that if anybody's watching or listening, just to give them comfort that, hey, we're not talking about building a Hitachi out in Poozy, you know.
Yes, no. This is like anything, you know, obviously this will be industry along your major corridor. I-75 and Duncannon are going to be the major locations. In addition, as 52 extends out to Garrett County, we will see some growth close to that intersection hub, but predominantly you're going to see this off of I-75.
Right. And all this really still has to follow what our land use regs.
Absolutely.
And our comprehensive plan is where our urban corridors are. It still has to follow all our rules.
Right. Part of
locally.
the census tract is in the city of Richmond. I think a small portion of it is in Berea, and then in the county, it will still have to follow. This is just an investment fund.
Right.
So
Yep.
this isn't a tractor.
Thank you very much. Next is a contract with CMW. This is on the detention center. Guys, we know we've talked about the drug epidemic for quite some time. Obviously, with working towards the healing center, and obviously getting closer with that coming to fruition, we had to start talking about an expansion on the detention center. We've decided to go with CMW. We have a contract here today that I'll be asking your all's permission to sign and go into an agreement with them. One of the things that I want to point out that we added to the contract was in case that we get to a point that we can't afford it, that we have to decide we have to go a different direction. I wanted to know what their services would cost. They needed to get to a certain dollar amount in order to be able to draw the plans to get them where they were bid ready. That amount would be $40,000. At that point, if we decide to move forward with the project and the expansion, then it would be 5.5% of the construction cost for the addition on the detention center. And this is all part of the package that we're trying to build, to put together, to present in combination with one another at a future fiscal court meeting, talking about the healing center and also with the full plans for the detention center.
Is it 5.5 plus the 40?
No.
It's included in the 5.5?
That's right, yeah. Yeah, if we decide once that we can present this as a package deal, we would know the 40 anymore if we decide to move forward. That would just be included in the 5.5%. Is that correct, Brad?
Yes, sir. One thing, Judge.
And Brad, if you don't mind, to step to the mic, please, just so anybody can hear you.
Sure.
And this is Brad Black. This CMW is actually here today. And just to give a little history too, you know, previous administration had worked with CMW on an expansion. I think Doug, that you came in 2010, so you were part of.
Yeah, I was aware of it. Yeah.
You were aware of it then too. So, and they had actually already done some sort of preliminary design, and so we just decided, since they already had started on some addition, and their price was good compared to other architects' prices, we decided it was good just to stick with them.
I just wanted to clear up one thing, if I could, Judge. What we'll be doing for that $40,000 is giving you a good concept, a conceptualization of what the facility would look like inside and out. The plans wouldn't be to the level where you could bid them yet. We'd have to go a little further than that to get bidding drawings. But it gives you a good idea of what you're going to get. And part of that too is we work with the judge and Doug and whoever on the fiscal court to make sure that what you're seeing is what you'd like to have. And part of that also would be at the end of this design, based on what you'd like, giving you some idea of the cost.
Brad, was this where we looked at maybe 200 units?
Correct.
Okay, that's been several years.
Well, it was 159, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
And-
So yeah, it doesn't get it ready for bid, but we're gonna be able to present so we know
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
close of what a cost is gonna be, so we know whether we can afford it or not. Okay,
Right.
all right.
Because to go further, we have to get into all the little details to get
Yeah.
ready for bid.
Well, obviously, what we've gotta get to is a price of what we
Right.
think this is gonna cost, so that we know then we can figure out how we're gonna pay for it at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what you'll have with, if you decide to stop at this $40,000, that's
Right.
what you'll have. Yeah.
But the original, I think, Larry, to answer your question, I think was 159 beds, I believe, back in 2012 or so,
Correct.
when you all did that.
Yeah, and now we're looking at 250 plus.
Right. Right now, Doug and I met with them last week, and right now, we're over 250. Addition to what we have now is 184. This, where we're at.
Judge, I'm sure we're probably looking at a bond issue on it.
And that's something else, y'all, I want y'all to think about, kind of the rule of thumb, for every $1 million you bond, there's about an $80,000 a year payment. So just think about that when we're when we're doing this, this is where we are
Well, the
today.
bonds are cheaper today than they've been in a long, long time.
So, yeah, I'm
But
sorry.
you still gotta pay it back. so
I'm
it
glad
doesn't
you
matter.
corrected me there, a minute ago.
Right, we didn't want you to,
Yeah, because we're trying to get to a price,
Right, right,
to an estimate, so we know what decision we have to make.
right, and at the end of this conceptual design phase, that's what you'll have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Will you have the contract, Judge?
Yes.
Brad, will that be audio visual that we'll be able to see it on a computer screen, your drawing?
Sure.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. And then you can play with it and work it around?
Yeah, you can kind of see different angles. and,
Tweak
yeah.
it how you want to
Yep.
move it, okay.
Yep.
Have you looked at Mr. County Attorney? Have you?
Yeah,
looked
he's
at-
seen the contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
feel
and this
com-
is
you feel
basically, just this
I do,
contract.
yeah, it's a standard A1A contract, and
Yeah.
we reviewed it, and it's, there's nothing in it that bothers me.
Yeah.
I move we go ahead and approve.
Yeah, my fear, the only thing that, we had them add was that 40,000, because I was worried about, getting to that point, and maybe we couldn't afford it, we had to go back.
Well, we
so-
can't afford it, but it's whether we're gonna do it or not.
Hey, we're gonna have to make it to where we can afford it,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Brad, do y'all have a timeline when you will have a proposal before us on the drawings?
Yeah, when the conceptual design phase is done, probably mid-July.
That
Yeah.
early? Okay.
Yeah.
I second the motion.
So I have a motion and a second. Doug, do you have anything you want to add?
No.
To it? All right. So I have a motion and a second. No discussion. Call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger? Yes. Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Taylor?
Yes. Next is zone change discussion. Guys, last court, we had a first, thanks, guys, appreciate it. Last court, we had a first reading of ordinance 1807, which was a zone change for address located at 2827 Lexington Road. And in that zone change, it was actually voted not to approve. And we can't stop there with that. And we're just gonna have some discussion today by our county attorney to guide us in the direction that we need to go in, to make our reasoning legal, correct?
Sure, yeah, sure. Well, in zone change, this court acts much like a court, and when you make a finding, which you did, everyone voted no, that's a finding, but that finding has to be supported by facts. You have to have evidence submitted that you consider that will be the basis of your findings of fact in order to withstand legal challenge. As it stands now, you voted no, which is a finding, but there was no evidence really submitted that you could consider that would support that finding. So if you want to reconsider the issue and have evidence submitted, you'd have a basis by which you could make your decision and then support that decision, yay or nay, but at least it would be supported by facts and evidence. And you can incorporate the planning and zoning report, their findings of fact, you can review those, you can take additional evidence, you can have a hearing. All those things can be done so that then when you make your finding, it can withstand legal challenge. The decision can't be arbitrary, or the standard's arbitrary or capricious. It's got to be based on evidence. And like I said, so the fiscal court in this kind of situation functions very much like a regular court. And so you need to have some evidence submitted that you can consider and then make a proper findings of fact that then could be challenged should somebody want to challenge that at some point. So my suggestion would be is that you would have, set another date for a hearing, that evidence could be submitted and both parties could be noticed and be heard, and then the fiscal court can make a decision from there. I think if you do nothing at this point, although you voted no, I don't believe it's enough to override the planning and zoning's finding, which approved the zone change. And so in 90 days from that, I think it would be approved at that point.
So at this time, I think at this point, do we need to maybe have a public hearing?
That would be my suggestion. I think that would be the best. That would get all the facts in front of the magistrates to make the best decision based on the facts that are in front of them.
Yeah. And then at that point, then we would have to come up with a finding of fact. If we still did not agree with this recommendation, we would have to have our own finding of fact that would be, I guess, a strong enough case that.
Right. It still can be challenged.
Yeah. Right.
And circuit court may disagree, but it would at least be based on evidence that was submitted that the magistrates considered.
Yeah. Because if a first reading got turned down, then you can't have a second reading, right?
Correct.
So we'd have to have a public hearing, and at
Right.
that point, do the finding of fact. Okay. Y'all have any questions?
Judge, I voted no on it on the basis last time because we didn't have enough information at hand at the time, and I said maybe at a later time. But I think it's a good idea. We need to get all the facts and information together, let all the concerned citizens be willing to speak on their side of their issue, and bring it back at another meeting.
I agree with you. I wasn't at the meeting, but I did watch it. And but I still feel like there's, from what I watched, I feel like there's a happy medium here somewhere. But I guess it's according to the way it's worded. When you say, well, we're going to do zone it here or here or here. I told some people I'm not up to date on all the zoning laws. I depend on Marty and Bert to tell me what it is. And it's not that I'm ignorant, but I just don't understand it. And I want to make the right decision, and I agree with the county attorney. You need to find it on facts. And I'd be more than happy to, if you want a motion to set up a special session for this, I would make that motion and be happy to do it. And whenever. I'd put that in the form of a motion. I think there's some way this can be worked out.
But that public hearing could be at our next fiscal court meeting, right?
I think it'd be fine.
Yeah. I know we have both parties represented here today. Mr. Eves is here, Mary Lois and Rona, so.
I would put that at the next court meeting,
Okay.
if that's okay with you.
Is that okay with both parties there? Okay.
Well, I mean, we don't want to wear you out coming back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, but we want to make the right decision.
Well, we gotta legally do our job as a court, first and foremost, so.
I'd like to hear a little more information on it.
Yeah.
And, on the Planning and Zoning Commission, there was two members that voted against it, so I want to hear their view and their reasoning for
Yeah, well, I don't know if.
rejecting this.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear their view on it.
It's on recording, though, isn't it, Marty? Or,
It's on, yeah, if they make comment.
okay.
Yeah, there's a recording of it for sure. Anything else, guys, on that? So we'll have a public hearing on that at our next fiscal court meeting, which will be May the 22nd, and that'll be back in Richmond at 9:30.
Election day.
It says Berea on the agenda, but it's not, it's Richmond.
That's election day, Judge.
Election
But
day.
that's okay.
I'm sorry, no, I'm sorry, it's wrong. Yeah, we moved it to Wednesday, the 23rd, because it was election day. So, correction. Anybody listening on that, it'll be May the 23rd, which is Wednesday in Richmond at 9:30. All right, next, judge's report. Just got a few announcements here. The 2018 Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive will be Saturday, May the 12th. You can just leave non-perishable food items in your mailbox, at your mailbox, and your letter carrier will pick that up. So your mail person will pick that up from your mailbox, so to go towards the fight against hunger. Primary election will be Tuesday, May the 22nd, with polls being open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you have any questions about your polling place or your ballot, please contact our master. 6 a.m.
6 to 6.
Yeah, 6 a.m., 6 p.m. I guess I didn't say that.
You said 9, the election workers would love it if it was less than 9 o'clock, but they got to be there at 5:15.
I'm sorry. Maybe I looked at that upside down. That's 6 upside down, I guess, maybe. 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you have any questions, call our lovely Madison County Clerk, Kenny Barger. Congratulations to the Madison County Coroners, Jimmy Cornelison, on being named president of the Kentucky State Coroners Association for 2018. I can't imagine there's a much better coroner in the state of Kentucky, and I'm sure that he'll fit that role very well. Madison Southern High School's 2018 graduation will be Friday, May the 25th at 7 p.m. So Madison Southern's graduation, 2018 graduation, will be Friday, May the 25th at 7 p.m. at EKU's Alumni Coliseum. It says please come early, and because traffic will be heavy. Model Laboratories graduation will be Friday, May the 25th at 7 p.m. and that will be at EKU Center for the Performing Arts. Madison Central's graduation will be Saturday, May the 26th at 11 a.m. at EKU's Alumni Coliseum. And they do not have Berea's, so I need to find out what Berea's is and maybe get that out and get it announced, which will have court before then. So 2018 Kentucky Special Olympics will be returning to Richmond in early June. Volunteers are needed. Contact Special Olympics of Kentucky for more information and forms. The Madison County Courthouse and its related offices will be closed on Monday, May the 28th for the Memorial Day holiday. We will reopen on Tuesday, May the 29th at 8 a.m. Next, comments from department heads. I bet this is going to be about open enrollment.
It is.
Yes.
So open enrollment is this week. We've had 51 people already register yesterday, so yay. Just make sure that during this week that you can either sign up at home, at your computer, or you can come see me from 8 to 4:30 on the 3rd floor of the courthouse annex. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. And that's Rachel Tyler, everybody. She's our Human Resources Director. Yep, that's right. She gets excited about open enrollment, if you can't tell. Yep. Any other department heads? Anybody else? Comments from magistrates? Larry?
Yes, sir. I apologize for not being at the last court meeting, but you wouldn't have wanted me there anyway because I wasn't feeling very good. And I want to comment to the county attorney. I watched that court meeting, and I want to commend you for stepping forward, trying to get this new program started on this home incarceration.
Well, thank you, Larry.
I don't know where we stand on it as of today, but I figured you might want to comment.
Well, I appreciate it. Actually, at my office right now, the people from Track Group, they're training our people to get started. As a matter of fact, I even brought one of the units with me. This is one of the units that we'll be using, and so we're moving full steam ahead. It's a big job. There's a lot to it, but Hannah's in the office and she's being trained as we speak, and we're make sure we got our software programs the way we need it, and get our parameters set, and start to work on all the details that'll be required to get it done. So excited about it. Again, it's going to be a big project, but it's worthwhile enough to work through all the problems we're going to encounter on the way. So excited about doing it.
Well, there will be problems. There were the last time, but hopefully we will see far enough ahead of that to not let those things happen again.
That's right. You got to sink your teeth in it and keep shaking. You know, you just got to keep moving, and that's our goal. And
But I commend you for taking hold of that. I mean, that's, you know, if you get 25 to 40 out, I know Doug, he's already smiling.
well, sure,
we
that's
ain't got 'em
right.
done yet.
That's right. And you know, and I've talked to Doug since the last meeting, and you know, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to put a number on the board, and that number is where we're going to try and keep the jail population below, and that'll make sure that the fiscal court's getting the savings that they need, and we don't know how many people will end up on home incarceration, but as long as we're keeping the number at the jail below a certain number, then we'll know we're enforcing the savings that are required to make the program work. So, but like I said, there's going to be some fits and starts, and there's going to be some, you know, some obstacles to overcome, but there's a lot of will in our office to get it done. So,
Well, I appreciate it. I just want to say
That's
that
good.
on my behalf. I appreciate the city of Brill letting us use this facility. Other than that, I'm just glad to be here, Judge.
Glad you're here, buddy. Obviously, Tom, want to make an announcement. Tom hated to miss today, but he is sick. He's under the weather. Actually, had a doctor's appointment this morning, so hopefully he'll get better, and we wish him well and hope he gets better. John?
Thank you, Judge. I just want to recognize a teacher out at Waco Elementary School named Chris Workman, and he is a Waco Historical Society, and I think they're fifth graders he's working with out there, and these kids are amazing. They did a presentation up at the Pleasant View House. That's the old historical house up by Madison Middle School, and they were all in costume. They had a part that they played. They had one was Colonel Sanders, one was some Jesse James. A couple of them were historical figures from the past, and they got to pick out the character they wanted to portray, and they were in full costume. They had a little skit on what they did in their life, you know, and we went around from station to station to hear each one of these young men and young women, and they did an outstanding job. And
cool.
Chris is working with this history class, historical class, and I think this Saturday they're actually going to clean up one of the historical Civil War cemeteries out in the Waco area. So, you know, if you get a chance to go by and help these kids clean the cemetery this weekend, I'm going to try to stop by for a little bit. And I just want to commend Chris for what he's doing with these young people. It's amazing. Just want to mention a little bit, we've got a lot of blacktopping done in the 3rd District in the last couple of weeks. I want to thank the State Road Department, Willie and his people. We've got Meadowbrook Road blacktop, Dodd Road, Panola Road, and over on Panola Road, we'd had trouble with slippage over there for several years. And last year, they worked on putting some pylons in.
Sorry, could you say that again?
Okay. Last year, the Transportation Department put some pylons in to keep the slippage on the side of the road over there, and they got that shored up and concreted the bank of it, and we had about a 20-foot drop-off on the side of the road, and this week they put guardrails up over there, so that looks good over there, and I appreciate that. It's just good to work with all the departments. I think we're moving forward, and if you have any questions, any concerns, call us here at the Fiscal Court, or my number is 661-0044. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Appreciate that. I want to make one comment too on that. I believe that the blacktop money there was discretionary money, wasn't it, Willie?
Yes, sir.
And so obviously it's always great to have a relationship with our state officials, and when we request some extra monies and we get it, I always want to thank them. So the State Transportation Cabinet, we appreciate them and our legislatures that represent here at Madison County. So, Raj.
The home incarceration issue, as we get people out, that will bring people back, that we're paying somebody else to house right now, is that correct? We bring them back in?
well, if you have open space, you can bring people back.
Right. Well,
I'm
I
not sure.
understand that we're overloaded now, but like if we can get 10 or 20 out, at least we should be able to get 2 or 3 back. That's what I'm getting at. I don't think we're ever going to take 10 out and bring 10 back. I understand that part.
Well, right now, I think Doug kind of is your number like 350. You can manage.
Kind of low a little bit, 350, yeah.
Huh?
Good.
We're kind of low number, about 350.
Yeah, I know.
We're 400.
But I'm saying you can handle 350.
Well, let me say this, we can handle 400 if we have to. I mean, we have been, but 350 is easy.
But 350 is better, right?
350 is better, 300 is better, yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Zero would be the
so-
one I'd want.
Guys, the amount of money that we've spent this year to house inmates in other counties, that's about 19. The dollar amount works out to about 19 individuals on a daily basis. So he is looking to maybe potentially get 50 or 60 out originally, right?
When we looked at it.
When y'all looked at it. And so I would think that if he can get 50 or 60 out, and our average has been 19 housing, that we could get those 19 back where we wouldn't have anybody in other counties, you know, and
That's
try
a
to
big
keep
cost. That's
and try to
30,
keep Doug around.
32, 33 a day?
About 32, yeah.
Right.
It's 220.
18,000 a month, 20,000 a month.
220,000 is what we're
That
gonna.
20,000 go a long way making payment on what Brad's gonna do.
Yeah. Does that answer your question,
Yeah.
Roger?
Other than that, I haven't got much. Whitehall Park is, it's looking good. I appreciate the mowing that they do out there, and it seems like the trash is being picked up pretty good. But a lot of people fishing, it's good weather coming, it's gonna get busy. It's a good park, and every evening that you go out there, it's pretty much crowded if the sun's out. Other than that, the Valley View Fair is closed yesterday. Was gonna try to open back up by noon today. Don't know if the water will go down enough to can or not. They'll try the best they can. That's all we got, Jim.
Thank you, Raj. Comments from the audience, anybody? Have anything?
Hey, Ray, I want to say something real quick. I know that Kenny, we appreciate him very much, and I think last week that we had with Kenny coming up, Greg Lakes, Church on the Rock, but right here, the guy that headed it all, Kenny Davis, and we had about 70 inmates baptized last week. So again, I want to thank Kenny personally for heading this and getting this all going. And it was a group effort by several churches there that came. There was about 20 or 25 people from churches that came out last week and made this happen. But I just wanted to personally thank you for these 70 people. So again, thank you.
Brother Kenny?
I just want to address that as well. That was our fourth baptism since Doug been in office. We actually, when Doug took office, we'd never had a baptism at the jail. And that's over 300 people in Doug's time there. And it's not me, it's not anybody else, it's God working. That's the bottom line. But what I know is these folks at the jail, Doug and his staff, have accommodated us. We have deputies that give their time. They don't charge. They're not being paid to be there. They're there to help us and assist us through that. And I know it turns everything upside down, because when you have men and women that you move around that you don't know what's going to happen, it's difficult. But I commend Doug and his staff. They've been exceptional, and I so appreciate you allowing us to be in there to minister to these men, and hopefully we're making a difference, you know. But I just want to say thank you, and thank you to this court. You know, it's a big deal. People don't realize it until you go in and see what happens and the movement that takes place and all that. It's a big deal. You know, they've got to get, this last week they had to get 70 fresh jail uniforms ready and 70 towels, you know, and places for them to change clothes. So it's not an easy thing, but it's a worthwhile thing. And I appreciate Doug and his staff. They've done exceptional. And like I say, the deputies, many of them volunteer their time. They're not getting paid. They're just there to assist us, and I'm so thankful for that.
Thank you, Brother Kenny. Appreciate it. Any other comments from the audience? I do want to recognize Bruce Fraley, Bruce City Council, Brea. Appreciate you being here today. And I also want to make an announcement that we're going to take a tour of the new City Hall here in Brea after court today. So anybody that wants to go, Doug, Kenny, anybody would like to go, so we'll walk over there after court and take that tour. Next, I need a motion to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
So moved.
Second.
No discussion, call the roll, please.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Barker? Yes. Mr. Tudor?
Yes.
Judge State?
Yes. I do want to announce that we're going to have a special work session next Tuesday, May the 15th. That'll be at 9:30 at the Madison County Courthouse in the Fiscal Courtroom. Our work session is going to be discussing the budget and going over the budget so that we can get it ready for the first reading. All you all got your budgets on May the 1st, and so it'll give us an opportunity to go through that budget with Glenna and make any additional changes and stuff that we need to before we actually have the first reading and get ready for the new fiscal year. So again, that work session on the budget will be Tuesday, May the 15th, 2018, at the Madison County Courthouse in Richmond, Kentucky at 9:30 a.m. Our next regular scheduled fiscal court meeting will be Tuesday, May the 23rd at 9:30.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. I said the right date, but I got the date.
The day of the week wrong.
Yeah, the day of the week wrong. So, are y'all listening? Where's our?
They're right here on the front.
Well, there was another one back there, but he's gone.
He's
So,
gone,
Richmond Register. Mr. Taylor, who are you with now? Bria Sisson. All right, good. So they're both here. So May the 23rd, which will be Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. is our next fiscal court meeting. At this time, I need a motion second to adjourn.
So moved.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Barker? Yes. Mr. Tudor?